David Hood, start us off.
I guess the first question everybody would have, the running back rotation. Have you decided on who's going to be that first guy out there yet?
In terms of the first guy, yes, sir, it's going to be C.J. Fuller. You know, he finished up last season, running second behind Wayne. Also came through the spring as the number one guy, and he held his own during camp. And then the next guy is going to be practice to practice, day to day until we get to the game. But right now you got Choice and Feaster that are battling out to be the second guy. I think all three of them are deserving of playing time, and so it's a much better situation than it's been in the past. Got a lot more depth with those three guys that are all capable of having quality reps.
We've heard so many good things about Travis. How close is he to catching up with the other three guys?
You know, as a runner, I mean, he's a guy that I just don't want to mess him up as a coach. You know, he's one of the most special talents I've had. Considering Ellington and McDowell and all those guys, he's just very, very natural. So as a runner, he's there. It's just, you know, getting him in position to be able to protect the quarterback. And as fast as we play, it's hard to be situational and put him in just to run the football. But he's making progress every day. He came out of a system where, you know, everything's new to him. You know, just the way that we communicate the play call is new to him. You know, identifying defense is new to him. But he's a smart young man. It's important to him, and I anticipate that hopefully sometime this season he'll be in a position to where he can get in there and play a little bit.
As far as you're going to go with the hot hand in that first game, as CJ gets going, maybe just keep him rolling for a while, or how are you going to do that?
You know, definitely, if one of them gets a hot hand, we want to lean on him. But I think all three of those guys, especially those older guys, are deserving of playing in that first game. And again, it's just going to be dependent upon how hot they are when they get their opportunity. And it's tough too when you're rotating guys because, you know, like Choice, for example, he's a rhythm guy. He has to get in there, play a couple snaps to get his rhythm. You know, and sometimes it's tough just coming off the bench. So I think all three of those guys deserve to play, and we'll see how the course of the game goes.
How difficult a decision was it for you when you sit down and have to make that choice? Because Feaster obviously really came on strong here at the end of camp.
Well, you know, it was a situation where Choice missed a little bit of time, and then Feaster had an opportunity to kind of solidify that and had some good practices, but then still wasn't as consistent as I was hoping he was going to be down the stretch. And so he kind of made that decision a little bit easier for me. But at the same time, you know, he's deserving of playing. All three of those guys, it's a different situation. I don't see as much separation, you know, as Wayne may have had on those guys in the past. All three of those guys are ready to play, and realistically, any one of them can go out there and be the starter. But CJ was the most consistent throughout the course of camp, and I felt like, you know, he did lay his claim on being the first guy to run.
Over the first part of the season, how comfortable are you with this being a fluid situation? I mean, you probably want to have that guy in place, you know, as permanently as you can early on.
You know, when Wayne first got his opportunity, it was a situation where he had a very, very short leash, and Choice was right on his heels. And throughout the course of practice and in the game, he determined that in terms of being the guy that got the majority of the reps. So I anticipate that hopefully all these guys will get an opportunity, and if one wants to become the alpha dog and say that he wants to be the guy that gets the majority of the snaps, it's going to be up to them how they play and how they practice.
I imagine that Pollard and Ingram are going to get pretty equal playing time because it's going to come down to the last practice to determine who goes out there first.
You know, it's a battle every single day between those two, and it's been that way. And Ingram has made some strides and kind of put himself in the pole position, but Pollard's not giving up, and he's battling every day. And Coach Caldwell's going to work in practice, play by play, see who's going to be the first one to run out.
How about tight end? How's that rotation going to work out, and who's going to be the starter?
You know, right now Milan's running in that position. You know, he's solidified that, but you got guys like Shadell, you know, that's pushing every day to get more reps, and you got Cannon, who's a veteran guy. Then you also got J.C. Chalk, who has kind of shown some flashes. So I think that Milan will be the guy that runs out there and throughout the course of the game give those other guys an opportunity. And again, it's like any position. I mean, you earn your playing time in practice, but when you get out in the game, if you perform, that's also a benefit to you.
Who's that guy that's more like in Garrett's position that's going to be that sort of that H-back, fullback kind of guy?
You know, Cannon would be the guy with his body type that would give us more of the physicality at the point of attack, and he's gotten better in the passing game and making himself an every down player. You know, Milan's got to fill that role as well. DJ Greenlee is a guy that's going to get a lot of reps that has to fill in, and so, you know, until we get out there and we have an opportunity to see, all those guys got to be prepared to fill that role.
Overall, this far into training camp, how comfortable are you with where the offense has progressed? And if you had to play tomorrow, do you feel comfortable with where they're at right now?
You know, I think so. I feel really good of the way that they progressed, and obviously there were a lot of question marks, but to see Kelly step up and to take command, and it looks like the guys are rallying around him. Obviously, he's got a ton of playmakers. The way that we performed in the last scrimmage, having an opportunity to move the ball versus our defense, which we know is going to be one of the best in the country, you know, gives you a lot of confidence. Now we just have to go in and get the details of the game plan for Kent State and get ready to play.
Without us taking it for granted that, you know, Kent State's going to be an easy game, not saying that, but How do you draw the line between wanting to get Kelly as much game time experience as possible and also wanting to give the other two guys some game experience?
That's a question for Coach Streeter and for Coach Sweeney to determine that. But going into it, Kent State's definitely not anybody that we can overlook. They got one of the most extensive third down packages that they change up, and they can really get to your quarterback. And that's a point of emphasis for them in the offseason, is to be able to rush the passer. So it's going to be important for Kelly to get off to a good start and play. And again, this is his first opportunity to be the starter, and so we want him to have an opportunity to play. And then as the flow of the game dictates, we'll get those other guys an opportunity.